Nick, on the back of the National Draft Combine this morning ahead of what's going to be a big couple of months, give us the lay of the land from a Carlton perspective with free agency, trade and draft all well and truly coming up.
Yeah, very exciting time of the year. Credit, as you know, our whole year's worth of work comes into the next couple of weeks, particularly preparing for the draft and getting through this trade period and trying to add to our list, and that's the number one priority for us at the moment.
Was this corresponding chat last year where you flagged the club's focus was going to be going to the draft, and that's exactly how it played out 12 months on? What are Carlton's priorities for 2025?
Yeah, very exciting time of the year. Credit, as you know, our whole year's worth of work will play out in the next couple of weeks, and then post that building into the draft, which is also an exciting time to bring in some really young talent to complement our core of senior players. Focus for the trade period, first and foremost, will be to building out that depth and quality depth in positions of need. And again, I mentioned the young guys, we saw them in the back half of the year play some senior footy and get some opportunity, so we're really excited to see how they develop under the pre-season.
On Friday, the club was informed it had netted 2 first-round selections following the departures of Tom De Koning and Jack Silvani. How does that shape the club's strategy?
Yeah, it's good, really good flexibility for us. Pick 9 and 19 now we hold going into the trade period. We've obviously got some points considerations with Harry Dean, which is exciting for the club also. But no, it's a good position to be in. You know, you never want to lose players to your club, but to be remunerated with pick 9 and 19 puts us in a really good position.
It's already been an off-season period of change. What type of players are on the radar for the footy club?
As I mentioned, yeah, players that we feel can come in straight away and have an impact and build out depth in some areas of need. We've got some players already that have committed to the club, and we'll be looking to get deals done for those guys early on in the week, and then we'll focus on where we can pivot to after that. There's a lot to play out in the trade period, as you know, and things can happen quite quickly.
It has been reported that 3 players across the league have requested trades to Icon Park. Campbell Chesser, Liam Reedy and the contracted Buku Kamas. What's the state of play on that trio?
Yeah, we're having dialogue with all 3 of those clubs. Progressing well. We'll keep those conversations nice and respectful, but they're tracking in the right way, and we feel like we'll be able to get a resolution there.
One player whose name has been brought up throughout this time is Charlie Curnow, with multiple people from the club already commenting on Carlton's position. Can you provide an update on where that all currently sits?
Yeah, our position on Charlie's been pretty clear for quite some time now. We had a really honest conversation with Charlie at the end of the season. And again, every decision we make is in the best interests of the Carlton Football Club. He's had a chance to go away over the break and have a bit of a refresh, but we fully expect him to be a Carlton player in 2026.
A group of uncontracted players include Mitch McGovern at this point of year. What's the latest on those group of guys?
Yeah, each year there's a group of players that have to wait, unfortunately, through this trade period and see what happens over the next 10 days, but we'll continue to work through the options with those guys and loop back in when we can.
Then there's Elijah Holland, who it's been mentioned as exploring other opportunities. Is that the latest on Lodge?
Yeah, that's right. Elijah's been given the opportunity to explore his options through this trade period, and we'll just see what happens in the next 10 days.
With those confirmed free agency departures, plus the retirement of Sam Docherty, how much flexibility does that provide the club this year, but also when it comes to future planning for coming years?
Yeah, it does give us a bit of flexibility, and we're certainly expecting to make some change to our list. And again, it gives us a bit of a fresh look. We'll have quite a number of new coaches as well coming in, which is exciting also. But yeah, a bit of flexibility, both from a draft point of view, but also trade with some list spots and what we're capable of doing. But yeah, it all points to an opportunity to refresh a bit and see how we roll moving forward.
Of course, with that flexibility comes an eye towards managing contract situations on current players. One of those out of contract at the end of next year is Sam Walsh. Have talks commenced with the co-vice captain?
Yeah, we're really comfortable with where we sit with Sam at the moment. He's obviously an incredibly important player and person to our footy club. Sam's had a good break. He's getting fit and strong and ready for a big pre-season. We'll pick up those conversations as early as we possibly can.
When it comes to that future planning, you just came from the draft combine across the road with Harry Dean among those names. How does acquiring Harry come November factor into the strategy of the coming weeks, not only getting him, but also potentially some more Carlton Academy talent through the door?
Yeah, it's been a big focus of ours all year. Obviously, we've worked closely with Harry over a number of years through our academy. Not only Harry, but all the boys in our academy put in a huge amount of work on their games. Our staff work incredibly hard to get them to the position that they're in now. So we're really excited. Harry's a great young kid with a lot of potential, and that'll form a big part of our strategy in the next trade period, but also leading into the draft and how we can best match that bid and set ourselves up moving forward.
Then there's Cody Walker, who received Best on Ground honours on Grand Final Day and already nominated his boyhood club under the father-son rule. What does the next 12 months look like for the club and Cody. Granted that there's still a bit to work through.
Yeah, look, it was exciting to see him run around on the MCG on Grand Final Day. He's an exciting talent for us, and again, like the other guys in our academy, he's put in a huge amount of work, and as our staff have to prepare him the best that they possibly can. And it's a big year for Cody coming up next year. He'll obviously get some opportunities to train with us over the summer, various stages. But yeah, look, head down, bum up for him at the moment. But he's had a really exciting finish to the year, and we're pumped to see where he can take us in the future.
There is still a bit of clarification on what the academy process will look like in 12 months' time, but it still must be a real source of pride for the footy club that it's all coming to fruition for a number of our AFL and AFLW prospects, starting from last year and then into the coming years.
Most definitely, it's a significant investment for our club, and we'll continue to pour a lot of resources into that. We've seen not only the father-sons, the NGAs, really important aspect of what we're doing in our recruiting process, and it's exciting for those kids. They do get a really good opportunity to come in and learn about the club and the culture and various things like their diet and their strength programs, and it does give them a head start on the other draftees moving into their first pre-season.
You mentioned the kids. When it comes to the talent coming through the door, 7 players made their AFL debuts this year. How important is that from a list management perspective when it comes to, I guess, enhancing and building out the team's depth, as you've mentioned?
Yeah, it's really important. We feel like we've got a really good group of young guys that have tasted some senior football now, and they were certainly made to work for those opportunities. But I think we saw the back end of the year, they're quite comfortable at the level, and really looking forward to them getting another pre-season. It's exciting also with Jagger Smith being able to join our program. It was obviously disappointing for him to miss the year, but we're really excited with how he's progressing and how he's moving out the track. And yeah, again, the draft gives us an opportunity to bring in some more elite young talent to add to what we've already got. So it's a really exciting phase for us.
We spoke about that flexibility earlier when it comes to this year's trade period and the opportunities that present itself. How do you find the balance between, I guess, getting aggressive and adding ready-made senior talent for an immediate impact versus bringing in that elite young talent that'll hold the club's future in good stead?
Yeah, it certainly is a balance, and as I said, we've got a really good group of young guys that we're continually looking to build out. We feel like our senior core talent is at an elite level, and it's probably more looking at that middle-aged bracket to build out some depth in certain positions and sort of bring it all together. But you're right, the balancing act is there, and it's just working through what our options are and making the best decisions we can for the footy club.
2 key additions into the club this year have been Graham Wright as CEO, and then more recently Chris Davies as the new GM of football. With Chris in particular, how much will you lean on their experience in this space, and what's that early alignment been like across the board?
Yeah, look, Chris is obviously extremely experienced. He's hit the ground running. I've had some really meaningful chats with him so far. Extremely supportive, and again, working with Graham, who also has a huge list management background. He's been fantastic for me this year to lean on as a sounding board, and we're very aligned through our list management department, also led by those 2 guys at the top with their experience. So it's a really good position to be in, and we're really looking forward to the next 10 days.
Just rounding out, what's your message for Carlton fans leading into what is always a time of year that generates plenty of talk?
Yeah, look, it's exciting. As I said, it's an opportunity for us to refresh our list in a lot of ways, not only through the trade period, but coming into the draft. Again, it's been a challenging year, but we feel like the competition's extremely close. We've lived the highs and lows of that closeness, I suppose, over the last few years. And I guess looking forward, it's an opportunity for our guys to come together, work really hard. And we got some feedback this year that there's a bit of a gap we need to close. So I guess just making some changes and refreshing it all and bringing it together come day 1 of pre-season.